streaming isn't dropping frames today. Yeah, that's much nicer. We're not getting like 30 to 50% dropped frames today like we were yesterday. I say that. We've just had like a 3% frame drop. Okay. I'm gonna hope that that's nice and stable. Here we go. Everything... Okay, yeah, we dropped 34 frames total. I think that was just a one-time drop. I'm gonna keep an eye on it for a minute. And then, once I'm certain that that was just a setting up the stream blip, we'll get going. I'm gonna turn off the little, annotation. Yeah, there we go. I think it's stabilized. I'm gonna post that we're going live. And I'm gonna get the pop-out chat onto this monitor. And then I think we're good. How is everyone doing? We got 10 minutes until this one starts. How long is this showcase? Black Voices in gaming. How long? How long should I expect this to be? Into, is there an announced length for this one? I don't think so. They did a stream in February that was 2 hours, 20 minutes long. I'm guessing it's going to be most of 2 hours. Ideally, for me, this would be like 90 minutes. Because then that gives us half an hour to swap over and do a predictions bingo stream ahead of State of Play starting. I would like to be able to do a prediction stream ahead of State of Play, because this is going to be PlayStation's big live stream for the year, and I kind of want to get bingo on for that. Worst case, maybe we do bingo during the end of Black Voices in Gaming, potentially. We'll see. We'll see how the length of this seems like it's going to shake out. Hello, Hurricane. Hello, The Keep Studios. How is everyone doing today? I'm doing delightfully currently. Oh, Tara in the Twitch chat says, I lost my streak. I could have watched a VOD to save it, but that felt like cheating and I felt like I should just let it expire. I didn't know that watching VODs rescued streaks. That's interesting. I apologize if my technical issues yesterday, creating like 10 2-minute long streams trying to sort my tech out, was in any way a factor in you losing your streak. I'm ready for some more, some more video games. I think this showcase last year was where, Relooted? Is that what it was called? The sort of parkour, stealing reclaiming artifacts from museums, to bring them back to parts of Africa. Was that, I believe, was that in Black Voices in Gaming last year? I'm pretty sure it was during Summer Games Fest season last year, and it would make sense if this is where I saw it. It was a real cool one out of that. I was just busy, no worries. Numeric says, hope the accessibility showcase goes well in a few days. I hope so too! We're nearly ready. What are we on today? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We've got like 3 days to go, and the main thing left is I am waiting for, the British Sign Language one to show up. I need the BSL interpreter to send it back to me. If I don't have it tomorrow, I'm gonna chase them up and be like, hey, just check it in. Because I've got to do some stuff on my end. Are you ready? Hazelduff said they had streams like this before. Seems really interesting. Yeah, so they've done this every year, at least for the last, like, 5-6 years. Like, since COVID happened and everyone started doing their remote showcases. Black Voices in Gaming tends to be, you get a bunch of trailers for games from black game developers and predominantly black game development studios, but you also get a good amount of like developer interview stuff in this showcase. This is going to be way less trailer for 2 hours, no breathing room, no stops, than say the mix was yesterday. Black Voices in Gaming tends to do more like, here is like a 5-minute segment on a game with some developer interviews, some actual explaining what the game is like. Maybe some of it is trailer, but there will probably be gameplay and commentary to like talk you through what the game is. Honestly, more my speed. Relooters was in Day of the Devs. It may have been in other places, but good to know it was in Day of the Dev. Yeah, Lords of Rana says might have been in more, don't remember. Yeah, you'll sometimes get a game shows up in multiple places. Cool that it showed up in Day of the Devs. I'm pretty sure it showed up in a few places. Tara says, I get to watch the Accessibility Summer Showcase, but I may have to drop out before the end because my water aerobics start close to the stream's end. Oh no! Oh yeah, I gotta get my Steam app ready for this. Okay, so I'm ready to start wishlisting some interesting looking games. I paused, I had a lovely dinner just before coming up to stream. My wonderful wife made some nice spaghetti bolognese. And we watched the first half of the new Game Changer episodes. That was nice. Had a little bit of a chill before coming up for streaming. Hello, Saint Nobody. I am currently in the midst of downloading that new Yoshi game to finally get around to giving that a look. How big is my wish list? Let's find out how big my current Steam wish list is. The app isn't telling me a number of games, but let me just count my wish list very quickly. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 30, 20, 21, 16, 80. It won't give me a number. It's long, is the answer. There's a lot of stuff on here. It's usually during Summer Games Fest season. It's, hey, email me when these games come out so that I like remember to check them out. Is there any way for it to tell me like how many are in this list? Not on mobile, there isn't. I started counting, I was like, it's gonna be too long. I realized that this is a fool's errand. There should be a count. I can't see a count on mobile. Maybe I can find it on PC in a second. Tara says, Laura praising her wife. She's in the pocket of Big Wife. I am indeed in the pocket of Big Wife. Okay, I can open this up on desktop. Give me a second to find my wish list. Where do I find my wish list? Currently about 200 games on my wish list. 196 currently on my wish list. I try and prune it every now and then, and I do try and prune stuff that is already out and I just haven't bothered to play. There we go, yeah, there's currently a little shy of 200 things in my wish list. I use it as a way of being like, these are games I should try and remember to keep track of as they release and see, like, is this something I should play to be able to talk about on podcasts or whatever? Okay, we've got about a minute to go. Also, I believe my lovely wife may even be watching this evening. Oh, I do love the little, I do love the animation stuff they've got in the run-up to this airing. Wife is indeed here. Hey, wife, you're the best and I love you, and I'm telling you in front of all these people that you're the best, and you're the perfect one. Haha. No, I'm pretty sure it's you that's the best one, Jane. Game Frog in the YouTube chat says, I have like 1,000 games on my wish list. It's horrendous. I try not to add too many that I completely glaze over, but enough that I keep track of what's happening in games. Oh, it's time.
What is happening, my people, my people? My name is Justin Woodward, co-founder of Black Voice in Gaming, The Mix, and the nonprofit Experience Studios. It is a scorching
PS1 VTuber is an aesthetic.
We're kicking the door, waving the fofo with our annual Black Voice in Gaming Summer Showcase for 2026. Our mission is simple. We help support and celebrate developers through grants, network connections, publishers, investors, platforms, and of course, the community of you guys and the culture. This BVIG, we are proud to showcase trailers, interviews, and gameplay sessions with some dope developers.
This is what I'm saying. We get trailers, but we also actually get to see some gameplay and hear from the devs.
The Mix, and our broadcasting partners, Summer Game Fest. Thank you guys for supporting us. IGN, Twitch, GameSpot, and Steam. Yes, Steam. Please wish list or purchase the games you see.
One day I'll get some of these broadcast partners. Steam is a broadcast partner for AA.
We're coming up on our third year
with
the XP Fund, where we help fund grants through an accelerator program that will get these games made. If you're interested in supporting these games through charity, please follow the QR code on
That's
the
a really
screen
cool idea.
when it
That
pops
is,
up. And if you're interested
I would
in
love for the
investment
AA showcase to get
opportunities,
big
please
enough
hit us
that we
up
could
as
do something
well.
like this. That would
Without
be super
further
cool.
delay, I'm going to pass the mic to Lori and Curtis Baxter to get into the
Is
first
everyone in this
game.
showcase going to be PS1 VTubers?
Thanks, Justin.
Okay, no.
My name is Curtis, and I am joined by my incredible host, a fantastic content creator by the name of...
Hi, my name is Lori, and I'm so excited to be here today with you, Curtis, for all of the trailers, all of the announcements.
I know, I think it's going to be jam-packed, so I don't know about you, but I want to get right into it. You down with that?
I want to
Yes,
get
let's
right
do
into it.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it. Where are
Hey,
we starting?
My name's Graham. I'm a Jamaican game developer, and this is my cozy island builder, Our Lands. It's a game focused on creativity. No pressure, no rules to follow, just pure vibes.
Okay, I like that.
It's up to you to create whatever kind of island you want to make, whether it's a lush forest campsite or a vast deserted island.
I love this
Our
man's
Lands
voice
has
for
dozens
narration.
of things for you to decorate your islands with.
Very
And
lovely
once you take
voiceover
a break from
voice.
building, even more things are waiting to be found.
Hey Echo,
Just
this is the
poke
first
around.
game.
There are
It's
a
a
ton of delightful
it's an
surprises
island
for you
builder
to
with no
experience.
rules. It's very chill.
Now,
One of the hosts
once you
was a
think you're done,
PS1
show
VTuber.
off your hard work by making postcards and sharing them with your friends, because good things should always be shared. Day or night, rain or shine, come and craft your little slice of paradise right here in Our Lands.
Our Lands is that's a really nice name. It is.
A princess, once beautiful beyond wonders of the flesh.
Sorry, I
now
got very
crawl
just.
the earth as her demonic mass.
Audio balance is weird.
Lifeless.
Sorry, I got distracted by lesbian vampires. That was definitely lesbian vampires happening. Hey, Gumba. Hey, Nautical Menace. We need more sapphic vampire content. Vampire Princess Ursula. Oh, I love these very sort of lanky, janky body shapes. The human feeder Delphine. Yeah, these slightly inhuman body proportions are very good. Oh, who wants a male vampire? Ugh. Oh, one of those was a famous countess that bathed in blood. Okay. Okay. Coming to Switch and PC next year. Fendi Bambi, we don't know how long this is. I would ideally like a slight break in between this and State of Play, but I genuinely don't know how long this is. I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand what is occurring here. Marble placing roguelite? I don't understand these gameplay mechanics, but they are dopamine doing. This I could do with a voiceover to explain to me. Echo says, Ursula Battery of Legend was a noble woman who was notoriously gay and allegedly bathed in the blood of maidens to keep her youth. For me, an ideal length for this would be like 90 minutes, because then we could like shut the stream for like 2 minutes, I come back, and we do a prediction stream. Is this Mancala? This might be. I don't know Mancala, so I don't know how to pass the mechanics here. I'd be super open to learning what this game is. Okay, there's a demo, maybe that'll help. Yeah, it looks like fancy Mancala. Okay, I don't know enough about Mancala to understand the reference points. This, ooh, I like this art style for an RPG. It weirdly reminds me of the Game Boy era, the knockoff Pokemon games, like Pokemon Jade, and Pokemon Emerald brackets the other one. I love this main character design on the overworld. Gay Frog, I apologize, it's a little quiet over in the YouTube chat. I stream over there just because some people, that's where they prefer to get the notifications, but the Twitch chat tends to be busier. I wish I could combine the chats, but Twitch forbids me from merging the chats, unfortunately. So I gotta say things from chat to chat. Gay Frog says, YouTube has a much bigger delay. Yes. I can't control YouTube's delay. This looks very cool. Yeah, YouTube just has the delay it has, and that's that. Twitch, I am allowed to tell them, please, like, give me the shorter delay so I can interact basically in real time with
Hi
chat.
everyone, I'm Thiago Prudente from Mandinga Games. We are indie game developers from Salvador, Bahia, Northeast Brazil, and I'm the
Yeah, I assumed Mancala was a very
Black
traditional
Sails.
board game.
I'm
It's
here
just
to
not one
tell
I've
you a
played.
bit about the game we're building and why this story matters so much to us. Black Sailor is an adventure RPG
Let me turn
with
this up a
tactical
little.
turn-based combat. It's a story during the colonization of Brazil back in the 19th century.
Ooh.
About a group of enslaved Africans who refused to accept their fate. So they rebelled, seized control of a slave ship, and became
This is
pirates,
a really cool
fighting back
perspective for a
against the
pirate
Portuguese
game.
colonial oppression in the Bay of All Saints. It's a decolonial game. That means we are shifting the lenses here. We are so used to see
Anti-colonial
history in
pirate
games,
game,
both
hell
from
yes.
the perspective of the conqueror or the explorer, but in Black Sailors we flip that logic. We take the power out of the hands of the colonizer.
Numeric, you'd have
and
to.
put it in the hands
If they
of the
did that,
enslaved
I
and
was
oppressed.
unaware of that.
One of the things
From
that
what I'm
drives
aware,
us
as a
is
Twitch
how
partner, I'm still not
history
allowed to
is.
merge.
Even
I
in
can
Brazil, our
simulcast.
education is
I can
often
broadcast to
very
both Twitch and
We
YouTube at the
were
same
taught
time,
at school
but I'm
that
not
our
allowed
country
to
was
show
founded
YouTube
by
chat messages
Portuguese,
in my
indigenous
Twitch
people
chat.
and Africans, as if African was just one big homogeneous block, but that was not the
Yeah, what
case.
is this one
The
called? I
African
want to check
diaspora
this one
was
out.
formed by several different ethnicities: Yoruba, Bantu, Fon, and many others. Each had their own unique culture, cosmology, and customs. Some were even rivals
Yeah,
back in Africa,
as Echo
but they
says,
were
there
forced
are
into the
things
same
that make it
struggle.
possible to
The
do, and I
colonizers
could probably
actually
do it and not
fought
get
mixing
noticed
different
doing it,
ethnicities would
but I don't
prevent
want to
it.
risk getting in
It's
trouble with
important to
Twitch.
understand that Black Sailors is built
Oh yeah, it's called
entirely
Black
from an
Sailors.
Afro-Brazilian perspective. Our culture is incredibly rich and rooted in African ancestry. But over centuries, we lost the clear lines of what came from each
2027.
ethnicity. In
Okay,
Black Sailors,
wish
we are
listed.
creating an alternative story, exploring what it would look like if this Afro-Brazilian
Pride, Zombie
identity
Helper.
was forged in the fire of a pirate rebellion.
Fendi
We
Bambi
didn't
says,
want to
combined
just
how?
make
People who
generic
show chat
African
on
rebel
screen
practice.
are both,
That's why
at least I
we
know,
are
two bigger
collaborating
streamers who
with
do that.
historian,
Fendi Bambi, so
specialist in African diaspora in colonial
Uh,
Bahia. We have
I'm going to mute this for a second. Fendi Bambi, here's the thing. There are big streamers that do it, and they get away with it because they're big streamers. I'm small enough I would get in trouble if I did it. Officially, I cannot show a combined chat on stream. I cannot show YouTube comments on the video feed that goes to Twitch. I cannot use cross-posting apps to post the YouTube comments into Twitch and vice versa. There are big streamers that do it because they're big and they know they won't get in trouble. There are small streamers that do it because they're just banking on Twitch won't see and won't tell me off. The rules say you can't do it, and I don't want to risk my Twitch status, so I'm not taking that gamble. Other people can make that gamble. That's why I'm not making the gamble.
And assign them to specific functions on the ship. So, if you want the ship to move faster, you need to put more people on the sails. If you want the ship to shoot back, you need to put more people on the guns. This is how you plan your evolution.
Yeah, Echo says you've got to be big enough Twitch gives you leeway or small enough not to be seen.
Phases. First, the planning phase, where you manage your crew, analyze enemy movements, track enemy bullets, and decide your strategy. Then comes the resolution phase, where you watch your decisions play out in real time. As your adventure continues, you upgrade your ship and crew and rescue more people who join your cause. We just announced Black Sailors to the world, and the reaction was intense. We saw a lot of backlash from people who treated the simple act of portraying enslaved people with
Andy H says, for the AA stream on Friday, would it be better to watch on Twitch or YouTube? YouTube will probably be a smoother watching experience. You'll have control over the subs rather than being baked in. YouTube views stick around visibly longer, and that's probably better for me having metrics I can show for the growth of the stream. You've got more options. You can have the ASL, BSL, or audio descriptions as well as the basic one. And I've timed it up so that there won't be any delay for the YouTube stream. Because it's a premiere as well, it'll probably have better quality options and be more stable. Also, this looks really cool. I gotta unmute this. YouTube's probably the better place to watch. Oh, the soundtrack's good as well. Okay. Anime mech fighting game. Fuck yeah. Or Fendi Bandit says watch live on Twitch and rewatch on YouTube. That works too. Honestly, wherever you watch is great. It genuinely shouldn't make a difference where you watch. Wherever you would like to watch is fine. If you have no preference, I'd probably point people at YouTube, but also, like, I'll be everywhere anyway. Netcode Warriors, this is getting wishlisted.
All right. Well, that was an incredible trailer for Netcode Warriors. I am joined by my co-host, Derek Fields, and right now we also happen to have the CEO and game director of Sun
Wishlisting
Studios,
that now.
Segun Oshede. How
Coming
are you?
soon.
I'm good. I'm good.
Let
Glad
me
to be
mute this
here.
for a
How's everybody
second. I
doing?
wanna read just the description for that fighting game. Dive into the datascape of Netcode Warriors, an anime-style arena fighter designed from the ground up to take competitive play to its limits. Intense 1v1 fights, master unique characters and playstyles. I love me a good 1v1 fighter, and that looks very cool.
You know, the kind of earliest days were a lot of ideation kind of phase. Like, what does this IP mean? Like, what is it about? Like, kind of figuring out some of the story and lore aspects and kind of honing in, like,
one sec.
How we
Gay Frog, I'll say this. The AA Summer Showcase probably will have a busy, active YouTube chat. The YouTube link tends to be, because I put the premiere links, I spread the premiere links around about a week in advance once they're ready. I'm Alex C. Thank you very much for the 34 months of sub. Thank you very much. Yes, the YouTube chat is often quiet throughout the year for regular live streams. For AA, it tends to be a lot chattier. So if you want this group of people to chat with, they'll probably be here on Twitch. There'll probably be a bunch of new people in the YouTube live chat for AA, because that gets good numbers live.
Divider, so a lot of very talented artists kind of help shape the artistic vision of the game. My inspirations for art generally are always going to be based on my background. So I'm Nigerian. So for instance, the main character is Yoruba. I'm Yoruba, so the Yoruba tribe. That was important to me, but also bringing in some of the things from my childhood that really stood out to me artistically and stylistically. So very Shibuya punk and grind fiction inspired.
Yeah.
You have a lot of like kind of streetwear and street culture kind of aspects that are kind of baked into some of the art and especially the human characters, but then the transformations into these like larger than life like warriors. We call them code warriors. It's very Sentai inspired, very Power Rangers inspired.
Yeah.
So those are like
I
bringing
feel
a lot
all
of
these
like aspects
inspirations
of
very
things I
clear.
grew up with, like Mega Man Battle Network and you know, other franchises like that. That really
Yeah, you are
shaped the
mentioning all
vision
the
of,
stuff
like,
I
the
want to
IP
hear.
and everything like that.
Yeah, rock on. I mean, it's easy to see for me coming from like a similar background in terms of influences and the types of media that I was growing up with. Those influences, like, they breathe all throughout Netcode Warriors. There's something that you nudged on that I would love to hear more about. One of my favorite topics is talking about cultural intersection and how these different inspirations can come together to breathe new life. You're directly interfacing.
I'm just looking
with
through
Japanese
screenshots of all the
developers
cool
and
mechs
artists
on their Steam
within
page.
this
They're very
project. And
cool.
so can you expand a little bit more about what it's like to work, you know, truly as a globalized studio?
Yeah, so you know, the whole studio is remote. I've always said, like, I don't really care where you come from. I just care that you got heart and talent, right? That's it. I don't really care too much like how much experience you have, because I think it's very easy to fall into that trap when you're hiring somebody of, you know, that whole thing like, oh well, I need experience to get a job. How can I get a job if I don't have experience, right? So for me, it's just if I see passionate people, talented people, I tend to reach out to those and try to see if there's like a way we can collaborate in certain aspects, in certain avenues. In regards to the globalization of everything, yeah, like, you know, people from all over the world, from Spain,
Fingers crossed they got some cool they got some accessibility stuff going on.
From Brazil, and
I sometimes struggle with fighting games.
like,
I'm hoping there's some,
team is kind of worldwide.
hoping it's not too,
you know, kind of by necessity,
emotion
you know,
input heavy, but I could definitely
want
give this a
the
go.
best people that we can bring onto the
You know,
project.
if this is like a direction
with
plus
Japanese guys
special
specifically,
style input scheme, I can have a lot of fun
language
with this.
barrier was, you know, kind of hard to overcome. You're like translating emails back and forth, trying to make sure that you're not saying anything that they can be perceived as like offensive and incorrect. You know, like, you want to make sure you're culturally sensitive to whoever you're speaking to and kind of the background, especially some of these guys who are very well known in the industry for, you know, the kind of work they've done. So yeah, it was very important for us to always approach those conversations with respect and make sure that the people who we're talking with, that they're creatively and artistically.
Dan Clancy himself says combined chat is okay from patch notes 43.
Yeah,
I have a link to the clip if you would like.
To how we do stuff.
Do you have any source for that? That is not a clip that is somewhere on Twitch's website that says yes, that ban no longer exists.
Can you speak to a little bit of the challenges that kind of come up? And
I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I'm saying is I have not seen text on Twitch's website or guidelines that says anything has changed, and I have seen people from Twitch say things in recorded conversations previously, and then people have acted on them and then gotten in trouble because it's not an official policy change, because it's not written anywhere on the website. So I'm not saying that it's not the case, but also I can't watch a video clip while on stream to confirm, and also if it only exists as a video clip, I am cautious to accept it. If that makes sense.
I'm sure my girlfriend would love to see me more. But, you know, at times, life demands that to achieve greatness, you must do great things, right?
I'm going to try and learn this in real time, I guess.
So yeah,
I was going to look this up after stream, but if we're continuing to talk about it, I'll try and look it up.
How I operate and everything like that. And I can't expect everybody to put in 100% if I'm not putting in 100%, right? 110%. Whatever I have to give, I give. Because these projects that we're working on as a studio, you know, they're very important to me. I'm very passionate about them. To me, Sun Studios is poised to be like one of the next premier like fighting game developers, at least based out of the West, right? If we do things correctly, and if we make sure that we're precise and very calculated with how we do things, and that we put our heart into it. You know, so that's kind of my approach to that.
As a fighting game, this means that we're entering into the fighting game community and entering into a nuance for things like iframes and move cancellations and like hitbox coordination. Yeah. I am arbitrarily gesturing.
Okay, here's what I can see. Okay, I've been looking up the stuff about combining Twitch chats. the official simulcasting guidelines FAQ bring up where the confusion is and why people sometimes get in trouble for it. They do say, quote, there's a question. Can I use third-party tools that combine activity from other platforms or services, such as chat, if I'm using them for my personal usage? Yes, you are free to use tools that are for your personal usage. Now, that is sometimes interpreted as what I have in my OBS, where I do see a combined chat in OBS, but that is for my personal usage. What they also say in the simulcasting guidelines is that you cannot do anything that, quote, promotes viewers watching on alternative live streaming services. And the problem is that sometimes Twitch will get you in trouble for a combined chat because they will claim that by having, say, YouTube viewers in the Twitch chat, that is inherently encouraging viewers, it's informing viewers, oh, another place to watch the stream, YouTube, does exist. Maybe I'll go watch it over there. Because of that, it exists in a weird grey area where you can have a combined chat, but Twitch might decide that by having YouTube viewers in the Twitch chat that you're promoting watching on YouTube, and therefore you get in trouble. So yeah, that's at least part of where the official the problem with the official guidelines is currently, is that the official guidelines do not do enough to specify what constitutes permitted personal use for combined chat, and at what point does combined chat risk becoming promotion of streaming on other services. And that's why I don't do it, because I don't want to risk getting in trouble, because I've seen streamers of similar size to me who have gotten in trouble basically just for having combined chat. Anyway,
backwards quickly with like intervals.
I want to learn more about this fighting game.
High level techniques about stepping into the foreground. Necro Warrior kind of approaches it more like there's a real freedom of movement, and the skill and depth is how the decisions you're making based on that movement. You can move wherever you want, but are you moving in the right place at the right time? You can move quickly, but are you quickly adjusting to what your opponent is doing and things like that? So that's kind of the design space that we're in regards to what Netcode Warriors is and what it can be.
I love that. We spoke a little bit earlier.
There's a thing that was shown that I don't know. I can't remember if it was shown in the trailer for this, but watching the trailer that's on Twitch, on Steam while we're talking, an element I hadn't internalized is that the characters, you start the fight with a human character, and they do essentially like a Power Rangers transformation, and the mech forms around them. Like, my cool armor's flying onto me, almost like the, that intro bit from the teaser trailer for No More Heroes 3, where all the armor, like, flies onto Travis Touchdown's body in real time, right before he flies off. There's some of that shit going on in this fighting game, and I love that. Literary Insomniac says, as a black gamer, unfortunately I always forget about these smaller showcases. I love that they hold these though, and also read the news coverage on these showcases. I'm really glad these exist. I wouldn't remember these showcases exist
So,
if
like,
not
dynamic.
if not for it being my job to remember they exist. I probably wouldn't remember. But like every year I'm like, look, even if I don't check out every showcase, I'm checking out the Latin American Game Showcase, the Women-led Showcase, the India Game Showcase, the Black Voices Showcase. All of the specific background showcases, I make sure I make time for those.
Could pursue, or one that we thought about to
Link
some
Competent
degree,
Hero,
but
thank you
haven't
for the
put too
46
much
months of
thought
sub.
into, because we're just really focused on making a good game with a good story first. Something I want to make sure is that I don't want people to feel like, oh, like I didn't get this, like I have to go do homework elsewhere to understand like the game I just played, like or the story I just played, or to understand the characters that I was interacting with. If that makes sense. Like
they're saying all the right things to get me on board with a single player fighting game
in Netcode Warriors. So
really quick before I let you get in, Derek, I want to know. All right, are you keeping the story under wraps, or can you speak a little bit to the story a little bit right here? Because I'm a story guy.
I want to hear story.
Yeah, I can talk about the story a little bit, but essentially, these people, right, humans from all around the world. So that's another thing, is that the cast is culturally diverse intentionally, right? They're from literally every character from somewhere else on Earth. Right, our main characters from Nigeria. We got somebody from the Scandinavian region, some Japanese, some Taiwanese. Like American. Like they're all from different walks of life, from different parts of the world. they all one day by happenstance get like sucked into this alternate world.
Okay, we're doing
network,
isekai.
right? And the network is essentially this living, sort of breathing world. Like when sometimes in lore
Okay,
and fantasy,
we're doing the
like
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Gaia, Earth as like a living, breathing thing. In this alternate dimension, that world is like alive, basically.
Okay.
And it's overseen by an entity called the Sovereign. And essentially, the laws of physics are kind of inverted in this alternate dimension to where energy is an infinite thing, but physical matter is like more limited than it is here. The humans kind of quickly realize that like, oh, if we could funnel this energy to Earth, then we would have potentially unlimited energy, and shenanigans ensue. That's basically
okay.
Just the kind of surface level gist.
Fighting over who can bring home an infinite energy source back to reality.
Expand on that a little bit.
That's pretty
interesting. A lot of what I was thinking about. There was a nugget that you mentioned about the story. About a lot to do with the game's identity and the expectation of players committing an amount of time to it so that they don't feel like that they have to do homework outside of the game to drive a connection with it. Games now are emerging in a space where let me rephrase and say all media is emerging into a space where they are competing with each other. So whether you're a game or a cartoon or a movie, the attention space is like a continuously crowded economy. And so, looking to keep your players in this environment in hopes that they will dedicate that time and expand upon the story. It sounds like a huge undertaking, one that it commands standing out with some of these other arena fighters that you were pointing to. What do you think about that emerging into
okay, I'm gonna guess from having had a quick peek at the Steam page and how many games we've seen so far and how many there are total. We're probably somewhere in the 90 minutes to 2 hours
other
range
elements
for this showcase.
That are going along with the story to keep people coming back for more.
Yeah, I think
we've seen maybe 6 out of 20.
Like the competitive kind of drive. The game needs to be deep, right? From a competitive standpoint, to have a sustainable player base, that sustains over time. I think another thing also is like at this point with most fighting games, like you need to show your player base that you're gonna put more time into it outside of just the initial
speaking
release.
of isekais, we've got
like some kind of
I shouldn't look ahead.
Whether it's
there's at least one game I'm very excited for showing up in the showcase.
We're having and plans we're making. I obviously can't speak to anything.
Yeah, Game Frog,
like
this is the pace that Black Voice Gaming always has.
How to make sure that
they slow down, they chat with devs.
It's not just a game; it's an intellectual property, right? That can extend past just the game itself, right? Like whether we get to make like a Netcode Warriors 2 or 3 or whatever, right? Like we've already had.
Give me the Netcode Warriors anime. I would watch the shit out of that
if we got to make that. And we have some very interesting kind of fighting games are very hard to market. You need to show players that there's something, either you usually need IP or something unique or something they're familiar with, something to grab them or bring them in. So one thing is obviously like character designers who've worked at Marvel and worked in Bandai and Digimon. Like that was like one pull.
Yeah, I can
pull that
see
those
design
about,
influences.
But I can basically explain is that we got some pretty prominent content creators in the fighting game community to agree to give to let us use their likenesses actually as characters in the game, as playable
Saint
characters.
Nobody, you might be correct.
Something
we might be seeing a bit of
because I think
his
it
next
really
game
creates
about
this
Truck
like
Coon
fandom kind of
coming up in a
relationship
bit.
between the game and those content creators and their communities, right? That I think will really accent kind of the IP in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Cool. To remind folks watching, you are both the CEO of Sun Studios and also the game director. So you're actually covering multiple projects at a time.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what does your typical day look like when we're talking about literally being part of crafting the business, which is the games in your case, but then also having to operate also on the kind of business side of things.
Yeah. So we're currently still fully self-funded. So I do have a day job that I have, that I do as well. That allows us to, and myself and my other co-owners, we all have day jobs that we use that allows to fund the studio. So a decent amount of my day obviously is going to that, and most of my Sun Studios related work is outside of that work.
One thing I will say, because I know that Gay Frog pointed out like the pacing is what it is for Black Voice in gaming. a lot of the reason why the pacing for this showcase is the way it is because Black Voices in Gaming does a lot of work to try and help the developers that are in the showcase to find funding for their projects, publishers, etc. The pacing of the showcase is often the way it is because it is in part showcase to the public cool upcoming games. It is also in part essentially a pitch document to publishers. An interview like this is happening right now, at least in part, because this is a game made by self-funded creators, and the hope is that this interview can be shown, you know, hey, this is a cool-looking game, we're going to show around to publishers and stuff, but also, here is an interview where those publishers can get to know one of the people behind the game and understand a little of the business, a little of the design, put a face to who they would be funding if they fund this game. Something that is, you know, at least in part here, to help these games on that journey to funding in a way that, like, just showing a trailer doesn't do. Like, some of this is pitches, and I don't think it's a mistake that, like, you get two kinds of interviews in Black Voices in Gaming as a showcase each year. You get, typically, a couple of interviews with, like, bigger name creators that, like, are very media trained and, like, will give a very competent interview. And you get a couple of interviews that are with smaller creators who it is very clear that Black Voices in Gaming are like, you've got a really cool project, we would like to give you extra breathing room and time as part of we know the industry's going to be looking here. Because, like, I've heard from the AA showcase, even with its go trailers format, at least a couple of games have found publishers through being in that showcase. And yeah, as we're talking about here, the donation link that's up on screen now, which I will probably chuck a little to before the end of the stream, in part goes towards helping to fund some of these games' development. For example, yeah, some of these choices are because this is a showcase that wants to help financially support some of these devs. Oh, we got another Star Fox. This Rogue Eclipse? I think I might already have my eyes on this one. I think this is Rogue Eclipse. Yeah, I've seen this one before. I don't know if this has a date yet, but I've been watching out for this. Ooh, there's a demo.
Pay attention, adversary.
Scramble Star Crossing. Ooh.
This time will be different.
Ooh. Oh, I love weird puzzle combat games. Yeah, cute art, cute soundtrack. I hope this has a demo, because I want a sense of... Oh, tell me this has got a demo. I'm having a look. It does have a demo. Ah, Chuck Kuhn is supporting me from another world. Here it is, the new Strange Scaffold game. So, for anyone who's unaware, in the anime genre isekai, where people get sent to another world, there's a bit of a meme that a lot of isekai protagonists get sent to the other world by a character colloquially known as Truck Kuhn. The truck that runs you over and sends you to another world. So this is an RPG where you're supporting the RPG protagonist by being the truck, and the more people you run over, the more, like, power-ups you send to the isekai protagonist. July 29th, hell yeah. This has been on my radar, I'm excited for this. I'm glad it has a date. Anything Strange Scaffold does, it tends to be great.
It's time for a new hero.
Ooh. Card-based monster summoning? Oh. 1v1 fighter with monster summoning card games? Yes, ain't nobody. I'd like to understand how those puzzles work a little more, but there's a demo release, so I'll check that out. Saturday Battle Manga. Okay. Okay.
Plum Road Tea Dream is gonna be a look into the life of S, which is my alter ego. So it's like a semi-autobiographical game. And S makes these virtual spaces for themselves that they call sanctuaries.
Oh, that's
out of a
visually
wish
stunning.
Or need for a world that is more safe, or for a world that
hyper-realistic 3D scans in a colorful digital 3D world,
or for a world where they can imagine versions of themselves that like somehow find a hard time existing in real life.
Oh.
My name is Samuel Baido. I'm 33 years old.
This is artsy as fuck and I'm interested.
I work as a theater maker, performer, and mentor.
Let me find this.
And in the last 3-4 years, I've also been working as a game designer. I think it's a game that can be
a game
enjoyed
about
by
pain, identity,
players,
and
but
the rituals
also
we create
by
to heal.
people that have no previous experience with video gaming. Next to walking being the main
LGBT,
action, some of the things you will come across
theme.
Are like interactable words like
there is a
read
prologue
or
demo.
sit or listen. Those are like some of the interactions you can do in the game. So it's rather simple. I think it's really about the experience, about getting to know the story of S, and spending time in these virtual sanctuaries. There are sanctuaries created for rest, sleep, and dreams, but there is also a sanctuary that kind of encapsulates a painful, even traumatic memory, I would say. There is a sanctuary that questions how we can grieve for people that we don't know but feel close to or feel connected to.
Okay, yeah.
So this is like
I can relate to that.
A game inside of a game. It's just a circle of chairs with names on them. But I'll read out the little plaque with information. Sit with them. I hope to turn this into a game one day. A game where you walk and encounter names on chairs. A list of names of people of color in Belgium who were killed by the police. I wonder what it would be like to sit with them around a campfire.
I've seen art installations like this done for things like Trans Day of Visibility before.
That connects all of the sanctuaries.
Gosh, yeah, that is very powerful.
Different
very quickly, very powerful.
That live. I call them NPCs, non-playable characters, and you can chat with them. And a big part of the game is actually to kind of help them get unstuck or to help them heal in some kind of way. I think the game is important to me for many different reasons. The creation of the game was really triggered by this traumatic event that's out of my youth that surfaced during the lockdown. A very painful rupture that I had with my father because of my sexuality.
I was guessing from the LGBT tag that was going to be part of this.
Because of playtesting the game or kind of having these open door moments where people could come and test the game, I noticed that it really resonated with a lot of people, and that the game opened for them maybe some ways of like reflecting or philosophizing on the topics that it offers. I would get messages that would be like, wow, you inspired me to start writing again, like I'm journaling again. Somehow sharing this very personal story made a lot of people feel really
love me a good,
seen.
just very
I also
personal.
think Plum Road Tea Dream is important to me because
reflective
it's
like
this
artsy
hugely
games.
Collaborative work. There are often comments on this work of like, whoa, I never thought about making games by 3D scanning clay sculptures that you make in real life. Or we also made this theater piece out of Plum Road Tea Dream, and there people are like, okay, you're using a video game as a medium for a live performance. I've never seen this. So I also think we pushed some boundaries in some ways.
We need more people like this making games.
Kind of bridged the game sector and the arts.
Making things that are pushing the boundaries of what you can do with game design.
A lot of people find their way to it, play it, and enjoy it.
Look, it's certainly not broad appeal, but broad audience, but like... Okay, it's like a month away, cool. Yeah. I want to sort of see more people doing weird artsy auteur stuff with games.
And welcome back.
Like actual auteur stuff, not like...
Lori.
Hello.
You know,
also here we have combat designer.
Just white men confidently saying, I made this by myself, ignore my team. Like actual auteur shit.
Hanging in there. Weird time, but you know.
Sure. But it's good to see you again, you know?
Yeah, it's been a while. So let's just jump right in and get started. Can you talk to us a little bit about kind of your path to becoming a combat designer?
Yeah, so my path as coming to a combat designer, it's like I had very humble beginnings. I started off in Albany, New York. That's where I grew up. And my brother is a lot older than me, and he would introduce me to a bunch of comic books and action movies, like the Five Deadly Venoms, Kids with the Golden Arms, and one of my favorites, you know, Bruce Leroy and the Last Dragon.
Actual auteurs, not people like Jonathan Blow,
start, like taking gymnastics and doing kung fu and things like that. It's just to be the character. And when I translated that energy into like making games, I like realized that not just being a game designer, I could also be a person that creates these sort of action figures or adversaries or even the heroes to allow people to feel like that.
I love when someone like this finds their niche.
And become myself, you know. So went to school for it. I went to school at Rochester Institute of Technology. I didn't know anything about programming really before that. I took like one class in high school, and RIT was just starting to have a games program, and I wanted to make sure that I can get into the program. I started talking to, like, I originally went there for IT, knowing that they're going to have this game program, and I lined all my classes to be like a good game designer and have them transfer over because I didn't have a whole lot of money to like stay there extra years. And then along the way, I met a lot of people that had been working in games. And had an internship where they realized there's a specific role for a combat designer, a person who makes the enemies or a person who works on the hero and their interactions. So that was like my first foray into getting into realizing the role of a combat designer.
You said that you took like martial arts classes to that. So what was like, I guess, what was the process of like taking that experience from that and then like applying it to combat design?
Yeah, so like I grew up in like moving my body and understanding like punches and kicks, right? Being able to throw them
Some
yourself.
trailers
and then you sort of get into
for
the space where
some
you're
of
trying to like
tonight's
read your
state of play
opponent. You're gonna start
stuff
doing punches
might
and
have
kicks.
leaked
And
already.
as I gotten older, I was like,
interestingly.
okay, well, I can't just go out fighting everybody. And somehow like you learn this kind of dialogue with the person that you're like sparring with or fighting with that I like really just couldn't get enough of, because it's like that movie quote from The Matrix: you don't know somebody until you fight them. Or you can really learn them as you fight them. Like you start to anticipate their movements, you make moves that you're trying to train them to do certain things.
So I was saying before, I really like when you find somebody who's just like found their niche in game development. I've told this story before, but it's now rattling around my head and the ADHD won't let me think about anything else until I tell the story. One of my favorite stories of this, ever discovering a person like this in the games industry, was discovering that there is a person on the Conan Exiles development team, or there was a person on the Conan Exiles development team, who was the official monster butthole designer. Short version, a lot of their monster designs, the meshes overlapped in ways that kind of looked like buttholes, but like didn't make sense and were kind of distracting. So this guy took it upon himself to design actual intentional buttholes, and then that became a thing and became his job, and now he's the guy who designs the monster buttholes on the character models. sometimes you fall into a career and sometimes you find exactly what you were meant to be doing. Anyway, apologies for the side diversion.
I know that he's going to do this, so that's how I counter it. You know? So a little bit of that.
You talked a little bit about it being kind of a dialogue and kind of learning how somebody fought. Like, I'm interested to know, what is your approach? Like, let's just say it's a clean slate. This character's never been done before. What is your approach to coming up with this initial combat design for characters?
Yeah, you really want to come up with, like, what's the core fantasy of this character? What is his background? What is their background? Why are they trying to express themselves through violence, right? Like, how are they going to communicate? So somebody who might grow up in an adversarial environment, they might feel more aggressive, or like, you have to beat people to the punch. Like, the world is so chaotic around me that I have to be more aggressive to get stability. So the first thing I just try to do is, like, what is the character's fantasy, and then build that kind of backstory that.
Oh, I did also interview someone from Conan Exiles about their
that. Like I just mentioned, if the person has
the digestive system,
I'm like, okay, maybe their
with regards to Conan Exiles is a treasure trove for game designers who've thought about dominating
moves that, like, either armored or armored meaning like they absorb a hit while they're giving a hit, or if I'm going to make somebody who grew up in a little bit more naive or more playful, maybe they're going to be more standoffish back, or like they kind of think that even in the heat of battle, it's like a game, or like it's silly to them, it's like fun. They're going to be more like fluid in sort of their movements and playful in their actions. So you can have like two different fantasies that have these many different play styles that can even go with it.
Some of this is stuff in my box.
Another thing too is that you spoke about dialogue. How does combat design relate to other elements of the game, such as narrative?
I often think that, like, in a fight, you're going to have this natural back and forth of like taking turns. Basically, you're saying things and they're responding to it, right? So there's already this like action and response that comes from just the moveset alone. But you could tell a dialogue through, or a story really, through the environment. How did it change over time? And you don't always have to show damage on a actual character. You can show how things are breaking in the environment. You can show how this person's getting a little bit more desperate during the fight, how there is a reversal or double down. Basically, like, you think they're winning, and then they do something and now you're losing, you're on the back foot. So that's just the choreography of the fight, how it can turn into dialogue. But there's also like maybe they learned a new ability, maybe something that's unlocked from them, from a
that
core
state
memory.
of play tonight is apparently going to be 90+ minutes.
This new unlockable mechanic fits thematically to where the character's goals are, and how does their opponent stand in the way of that goal. It's not always good versus evil. It might be my goals versus your goals. You want to, make the world feel all the pain that you felt, or you want to stop the world from feeling pain ever again, and that just puts us at conflict.
Fendi Bambi, I don't blame you if you can't watch that long in one sitting. I'm only watching all these showcases back to back because it's my job to be here,
yet to see
being jaded alongside everyone.
And how would you kind of approach that? First of all, what are they? And then also, how would you kind of approach that and want to bring that into the game?
Oh, well, I feel like I've seen a
Truck-kun
lot
is
of
getting
different
a
martial arts,
demo
a lot of
later this
different
month.
styles,
Later
in
this month,
games,
hell
and
yeah.
I kind of specialize more so in melee combat. There's a lot of different ways to approach.
I gotta double
combat
check how
with,
some of my Switch
magical
downloads are doing
abilities
today.
or gunplay and different things. So I don't know if I can really speak to a style I haven't seen at all, because even capoeira, we're starting to see a bigger resurgence in that, but we haven't seen a whole lot of African martial arts. I don't think there's as popular or is as documented in the world of these different styles of African martial arts. And if I could speak to how to do it, I don't think I would give that away right away. I think that would be something. I think that would be like, hey, I'm gonna do this game that has some African styles. But one might go with this approach where we're thought of life had started in Africa. What if the original African martial art is what it brings in all these other different styles? Like basically the style that whether it be Muay Thai, Taekwondo, or Taido, or something like that, evolved from that style, that original martial arts style, and that expressive style. So, how could you make this a interesting origin style that like encompasses the different things. So it's like, oh, you thought you knew this, but like I invented it and I actually didn't share with you all the pieces. You just have like a fragment of everything I know.
Yeah. Just like you didn't share all the ideas that you have right now with us. I get it. All right.
That's a freebie. Like that's a
just making sure I have some stuff downloaded.
The other idea.
Yeah.
All right. Call,
I got you.
So I kind of wanted to go back to when you were talking about your like taking martial arts and whatnot. What was your favorite like martial arts, I guess, inspired piece of media, like as in like a film or a video game that like really inspired you as a combat designer?
Oh yeah, there's several. I mean, even to this day, like I love John Wick movies. I love all these other new action films that are coming out. The earliest ones for me would have to be like Kid with the Golden Arms or Five Deadly
Recent
Venoms.
great
Five Deadly Venoms is sort of like
martial art fighting films. Monkey Man
Avengers
was
before they were
fantastic.
Avengers, right? Like
Violent,
five
but
different styles
fantastic.
that had these like tropes and things with them, but you start to get the super abilities, the centipede really fast, the snake agile, the toad invulnerable, right? And how do they play together? So that was influential about like how do you come up with different techniques that speak to the theme of the character you're making, and then how can they be opposed to each other even if they've like learned from the same school. But the other one that was super influential to me, and I feel like it spawned like Dragon Ball Z in a way, is got to be The Last Dragon, right? Like it's a cult classic. Maybe it's not the absolute best movie on the planet, right? But there's so many things about
thinking about inspirational fight scenes to me.
You're already a master, but it's inside.
The fight scene that will always go back and be like the one that stirs up like teenage me's like full on excitement for fight scenes is the original Naruto versus Sasuke fight scene at the waterfall pre-Shippuden. The like when they're fighting on top of the water, the fox spirit is like manifesting around Naruto for the first time. Sasuke's got the one wing and the electricity going on. Like you knew it was going to be a good fight scene when like the budget changed and the animation style entirely changed, and you're like, oh, we're getting 2 episodes of a different studio came in to do this. The like fury and sadness and anguish that go behind these like brutally tangible hits. Sasuke slaps the F out of Naruto. They have a good back and forth until the bit where, Sasuke slaps the fuck out of Naruto. Like, I always remember the bit where Naruto gets thrown under the water and Sasuke's like, yeah, I got you. And then, like, the water starts churning, and it's like 1,000 Naruto clones have created like a big chain of themselves. Like they've made like a rope of Naruto's that grab Sasuke's feet and start like whipping him around above the surface and smack him against the wall. There's a big chain of Naruto's. There's some wild stuff in that fight that is goddamn beautiful. There is a reason it was so many teenagers set it to Linkin Park music back in the day, poorly in Windows Movie Maker.
We can't really talk about it or show it or do anything about that. So now I'm just helping other studios with their projects, some big projects that are unannounced. So I won't be able to talk about them too much, but it's similar to the things that I've learned along the way so far.
Do you have any favorite combat moments among the games you've contributed to?
Oh yeah, there's so many. Let me try to pick one. This is a huge moment for me on God of War 2018. I'm responsible for a lot of deaths in the basically Draugr pit. So that's where the bridge breaks and Atreus falls down, and then Kratos jumps in to jump down and. There are 3 heavy Draugrs that spawn in that fight, and that massacre a lot of people. So in playtest,
did you know in Germany we pronounce it like Sasuke?
Struggling with that part.
Sasuke.
But once you get past that, you're prepared for the rest of the game.
The whole way fighting Old Boy is very good.
That challenge, you have all the tools that you need to beat the game. So even though it is a frustrating moment for a lot of
Best
people,
ever fight scenes. Give me a sec.
I
I'm
think
looking
it
up some
did
good
help a lot
fight
of people
scenes.
get into learn to play the actual game instead of relying on like first tier tactics.
Oh, the Crazy
like,
88 fight in
tactics.
Kill Bill Volume
The other
1
moment on 2018 that I really enjoyed
quite something.
is actually right in front of the stonemason fight. There's
Oh,
3 different superpower
the church
joggers
fight in
that come out, and you
Kingsman,
think that
in
this is
Kingsman
kind
the
of a
Secret
fight.
Service.
These 3 units
The
on
church
their own
fight
can make an
is
interesting encounter.
special.
But actually, we bring back an old trope from the previous God of War games where we spawn a large creature. It used to be a Cyclops. For us, it was a ogre. And then we spawn another ogre. So right when you think like you fought this one challenging fight to like now there's an ogre and then there's like 2 ogres. How am I ever gonna do this? But it's set up in such a way that the pacing of the encounter empowers you to get over it. So you're at first you should feel the threat of it.
I'm
But
looking
as
for
you
the good
overcome that
fights.
fight, you're
I'm
like,
looking to be
I am
reminded of
awesome.
good
I am
fighting
God of War. I totally
scenes.
like can handle all these things. So those 2 moments, like frustrating moment that turns into like now you have the skills to beat the game, and then I was scared, but it's actually a totally doable fight.
How do you balance that? Because as you know, we've worked on projects together, and sometimes fine-tuning and balancing encounters and combat can prove to be a challenge in and of itself. So kind of what's your approach to just making sure things just feel good?
Yeah. So my approach to like making things feel good is first just like I always tune or start fighting an encounter with the most basic things. Like I always just use basic attacks.
The
and if
wall
I'm
fight in
meeting
the
a
first police
creature
story is
or
a good
boss
shout.
or an encounter, I always should be able to defeat it with just pressing the simple attack button, blocking and dodging, and take 0 damage. That lets me know that the animations are readable, the pacing is correct. Maybe there's if I do get hit, then like okay, I need to like time out, or I need to put a piece of health or something that you can like recharge yourself into the fight. And then the other parts is just like thinking about the fairness and the fatigue that you might have after seeing X amount of units, X amount of heavy fights, X amount of times where you needed to parry, or in one particular
anime fight
encounter,
scenes
and
that I
how
think
much
are
time
superb.
that encounter.
Late in My Hero Academia, Bakugo versus All for One. The episode that like the 2-episode fight that kicks off with the use of overdrive to throw Bakugo at high speed, the realization of if I feel the pain of the explosions and use that to time myself, I can move so fast that it hurts and I can't stop myself. The big overdramatic set piece finish, like that whole 2-episode fight, superb. Really good character work fight scene over a couple of episodes of anime is stupendous.
About like the offensive, I guess, or like more of like the defensive or like magical parts, or like I don't know if that makes sense, but like what do you try and prioritize, I guess, when you are starting, like when you're planning that out for combat?
So, it's you know, we were saying dialogue before, but it's really about the dance. Like even if you go back to those movies that I was talking about, they're not really
I will say, I wasn't
they're
expecting
kind
a
of, like,
20-minute
doing these
interview
sequential
about
dance
just
moves,
the
you know? So
job
they're your
of
dance partners.
fight
So how do you make this person
combat
interesting?
design.
It's not just
It's
about
interesting
defending.
for sure.
If the player's just defending, then that doesn't feel really good. I'm just kind of waiting for my turn, and then I parry, and then I just beat them up or something, right? So what other action verbs can we get? I need to dodge out of the way. Sometimes I need to parry. Is this my opportunity to take my turn back? Can I do this risky thing sometimes? If I do the risky thing sometimes and I win, great. But sometimes I do the risky
Action
thing and I
verbs
get
is a
punished.
great way
And
to
it's like,
think
I shouldn't
about this
been
kind of
able to do
discussion.
that, and that needs to be clear. So my priorities start off with how do we make this dance interesting? Both the player and the combatant have verbs where they can go back and forth with each other. How do I make it readable is the second part. Now that we have those verbs, you need to defend at this time. I need to signal to you that this is the move that you need to get out of the way of. And then this is the move that you need to block, or this is the move that you need to interrupt, right? And then the third part is
thank
like,
you
well,
very
how
much for
damage
the
or, like,
the
how
10
many
months of
tries
sub.
do
Thank
get
you.
of those attempts. If the player is getting hit once and the game is over, that can be really stressful. But maybe some attacks are more punishing than others. So now that's that signature kind of, and sometimes we call it like the signature kill move, where it's like, I need to watch out for that because it's just going to level me, you know? So, and then you just want to make that like a part of that core kit, that was the one interesting thing that I had to remember. And maybe I have a signature
Gay Frog, no. State of play starts in an hour, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right,
give me a sec.
Really good when I pick the right correction, the right side.
Steven, it is always a pleasure to kind of hear you dive into.
Yeah, State of Play still an hour away.
I've heard it.
Sorry, you made me panic for a second. I was like, oh god,
learning something new. So, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you on the internet?
No, I literally just googled it. State of Play.
Yeah, I'm happy to help you craft
give me a second. I'm gonna click on it.
It's always great meeting you guys. Thanks for having me.
I'm back again to remind you of the XP Fund, because your contributions can help get the next great indie game off the ground. Consider supporting by scanning the QR code.
Granny used to tell me all manner of stories. But rolling
I'm loading the screen up just to double check I'm not missing State of Play now.
And the golden table share take time guard up by Flatbridge. But the 3-foot horse and him not afraid of moonlight. But all he
no, IGN seems to be doing a pre-stream with an hour-long countdown. Okay.
But a crocodile man, and oh, you know.
Sorry, I can come back to watching this now.
She even tell me about the La Diablesse, where there are 1 cow hoof and white brim hats. How about how Sly Mongoose teeth out one of the man righteous chicken then? Hey, those were good times, you know. Good times.
Oh, you said no it does to mean no, it does start in an hour, you were correct. Whereas I read that as no, it does start now, to tell me I was wrong despite having just checked it. Okay, we're on track. I should trust myself more. I've scheduled this out so well, I'm pretty certain I know when things are. Oh, this is Beatdown City Survivors, I think? This is what if a Vampire Survivors had the aesthetics of a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Okay, I'm wishlisting this. Yeah. Yeah, that is what this is. Beatdown City Survivors. I love that we're seeing Vampire Survivors type games popping up in different aesthetics and subgenres.
My name's Xavier B. Johnson, and this is Diesel Knights.
I like the name. I was gonna say this game doesn't look like it to me, and then the Mets showed up, and I'm like, oh. Okay, we've got Indie Titanfall. I will play an Indie Titanfall. I miss Titanfall. Give me indie knockoff Titanfall.
Hi, I'm Indigo Doyle, creative director at Pushing Vertices,
Roller Girl,
Toronto, Canada, where we're making Roller Girl.
Doing roller skate games.
About Naomi, a 16-year-old girl in the 2000s, vibing with her rollerblades and her MP3 player. This game is a love letter to my childhood, rollerblading through the quiet streets of my hometown with my own personal soundtrack loaded up. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I love rollerblading and music, and that's why we spent a long time.
That doesn't feel like it's a secret
in the game to make it feel smooth and purposeful.
You're making a rollerblading game. I don't think that's a secret.
I have a soundtrack for how I'm feeling. In Roller Girl, the music is linked to the mood of the game. Changing the playlist changes your perception of the world, from happy
Echo, I'll pop that on my radar.
to sad.
Oh, the aesthetic changes based on the soundtrack. Oh, I love that.
Key story moments also impact the mood. We are curating a soundtrack inspired by 2000s pop punk by connecting with local indie bands. So far, we're featuring artists Narima and King Fabs.
Local indie bands bringing back the vibe of 2000s pop punk.
your favorite music playing in your earbuds.
I want to find
and
more
for a moment, it's like
indie
time
bands doing
stops,
2000
and you're
style
just in a
pop
flow
punk,
state.
yeah?
That's what Roller Girl represents. Your wheels on, your music up, and the freedom to move. The freedom to explore and learn about yourself as you go. You start the game having just gotten your first car,
Also,
which
those skating
breaks down
mechanics
immediately.
look real good.
Desperate for cash to fix it, you lace up your
The
rollerblades and
turn
grab your
from
MP3
forward
player.
skating to backward skating
You do odd
smoothly
jobs
between
around
the
town,
two, they
stumble
did
into a
it
romance,
correctly.
and
I'm like,
uncover a
oh.
juicy town mystery. I don't know about you, but I used to spend a lot of time in my head. Back in the day, I would rollerblade around my hometown, inventing backstories for my neighbors. There's a certain charm to small towns, and I can't wait for you to poke around and find the little stories I've hidden behind fences and around corners. Thanks for taking this tour with me, and thank you to the Black Voices in Gaming Showcase. I can't wait to see you find your vibe in Roller Girl.
Hell yeah, that looks really cool. GameFrog says, I love games promoting actually released music, but it sucks they can't be properly streamed in archive. I don't know, it depends on how aggressive these indie artists are going to be about DMCA. I would trust a bunch of local indie bands to be way more chill about their stuff being in streamed playthroughs. We need more roller skate, rollerblade culture games. The vibes are impeccable.
We are back with Black Voice in Game. You see how that we just like push right into it. I am here with Lizette and Marcus Montgomery, Cornerstone Studios, and they are working on your first game as a studio, which is Carrier Cuties. It has like a really interesting premise to it for sure. But I want to know how you guys started Cornerstone Studios, because it's like you guys are like super vets. Even I'm like, just the stuff that you guys have done, it puts me in awe.
Okay.
So can you guys talk about how
We've got 6 games
started
left.
the studio and a little bit about your backgrounds?
I suspect we're probably going to be done about
we're not
half an hour
newest.
from now,
We've
would
been
be my
doing this
guess.
For almost 3 decades. Some of us have been doing it for 3 decades. So we've worked in console, AAA, small studios, and we're kind of at a point where careers.
Also, they called this one Carrier Cuties. The full title of this game is Carrier Cuties, Pets in Mechs.
So we thought the next step for us was making our own IP.
The game they're talking about is a 3D arena fighter game.
And kind of what
where
led you to
animals pilot mechs.
You guys know I'm a big fighting game fan. It's like my favorite genre. I play every fighting game.
Yeah, they're really underselling what they're about to talk about.
Style of game and kind of want to make a fighting game for your first title.
You know, a lot of this comes back inherently. I'm come from that arcade area, that arcade era where fighting games was really prevalent. I like that twitch, fast, responsive sort of gameplay. It's a lot of the games I've worked on prior have had that, and so this is kind of just falls into that pocket. To really get into what inspired this, I think Lisette, maybe we should talk about our grandson a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got a grandson. He's 6. And one of the things we love.
Sorry, I'm watching a trailer for the game that they're making. There's like a big buff man in boxing gloves, but like you can see the lines he's made of metal, like he's an android. And a little Pomeranian like climbs up to the man's head. His pecs open up as like a glowing portal, and the Chihuahua or whatever it is, or Pomeranian, just like climbs into the the glowing chest cavity. The pecs close, and the Pomeranian is now piloting a man.
Update the mechanics and bring it into an area where co-play.
Try to see if I can find if I can put this trailer on the screen for you all.
And so
Give me a sec.
That's how kind of got the ball rolling. Was just a fun playtime with our grandson.
That's amazing. And you were mentioning this earlier. You have a collection of like a vast collection of games.
Been collecting games for a very, very long time. We've between the different eras. We even go back to the Atari. But the Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, Saturn
Here we go.
Saturn. That's awesome.
You know, like my first job in the industry was at Sega. And so,
Really?
Yes. So
Open the
I have a
pecs.
huge affinity for
Suck the
Sega.
dog into the pecs.
The
Punch
litany of
man
games
go.
But we've been collecting and carrying a bunch of different digital and physical media for a while, so our collection is pretty big.
So,
It also doesn't help that you have like an encyclopedic knowledge of game design, so that also
Really,
helps.
that's I may.
Yeah, they're gonna go have a fight at Waffle House.
You know what I mean? Resources and whatnot. No, that's really cool. So,
right,
if you're looking at your library of games and your grandson,
This is a cool sounding game. Why are they not showing us footage of the game while they talk?
What made you like?
Sorry, yes, I did forget to mention Waffle
this
House.
one?
I'm
Like,
sorry.
you know what I mean? You're just like, do you remember this particular Power Stone? And you're just like,
with kids, you expose them to a lot of different things. You never know what's going to stick, and so we're always, since he comes over and plays with us, there's certain things he likes and certain things
I apologize for not telling you about Waffle House.
But we also want to expose him to new things, and the Dreamcast is one of those things, and Power Stone is one of the many things that we tried. But that was one of the first things that he really attached, and he would ask about it. And it was a lot of it also is because I have the old arcade stick as well. So
you had the arcade stick?
Yeah, and he saw the stick and he was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Come, son, let me show you
Let me
what
teach
this
you
is
a
about."
fighting
Yeah,
game.
to expose.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
And we really love the fact that we
Saint
found
Nobody,
something
don't
we
worry.
connect.
Here's the thing I will tell you right now, Saint Nobody. You know how Americans don't really know anything about culture from other countries? Like we had the Robbie Williams, but he's a monkey film came out, and Americans were like, "Why would we watch this? We don't know who that is." The secret is America is very loud about their culture. So yes, everyone in the UK already knows that Waffle House has a reputation for people getting into fights there. America is very loud about their own culture. I have never been to a Waffle House, but I sure do know that they have a reputation for 2 a.m. brawls, because they're open 24 hours, and therefore they don't close. I've seen many clip of like a fight breaking out in a Waffle House and a member of staff like throwing a chair to break up the fight.
We're all going to eventually be killed by robots, so let's just play out to the worst scenario what that may look like and make it absurd and stupid. So I started thinking about what a post-AI world looked like, and I'm like, well, our pets.
Oh yes, the
still
Waffle
here,
House
so
Index.
of course they'd be
Jane
the
says,
ones
don't
who
forget
pick up
the
the
Weather
what would
Safety
that look
Index.
like, and what would they do?
For anyone who doesn't know, Waffle House fucking never closes. They refuse to close. Their management are very stern about we do not close for any reason. We are always open. So you can tell the severity of a storm and the movement of a severe storm by tracking the closure of Waffle House locations. The more Waffle Houses in an area have closed, tells you how severe a storm is, and you can track the movement of a storm really well by plotting it onto closed Waffle Houses.
Humans.
Yes.
Did the pets didn't kill them? AI killed them.
Yeah, AI killed them.
Because I'm
Yeah,
like,
they
this
used
is
them
so sad.
to monitor hurricanes and tornadoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
AI's gonna do what they're gonna do.
It's the Waffle House.
So
Weather
let's
Safety
jump into it.
Index.
We're gonna play, and then I think it would be really interesting to just kind of go over the character design, the pet design, and then kind of your approach to art, and that kind of thing. So
We're gonna give this till
I'm
half
gonna try
past,
to
I
play
reckon.
and
I apologize
talk
if there's
at the
any games
same
shown
time.
after half past.
Tips as we're playing.
Okay.
I might try and
Keep
catch up with them on a
X and
different
Y
stream
out,
later
you'll
in
be
the
fine.
week.
Okay, so what's this?
But I
what's the
want to
character?
do a bingo
So
a
this
bingo
particular
stream
character.
ahead
This
of
is essentially
State of Play,
our
ideally.
boxer and our boxer.
Oh, it's a
essentially,
boxer and a
The boxer
boxer.
pet is piling his Humek, as we call it.
Humek.
And
That's
essentially,
dope.
they appear as humans at first, and as
Humek.
you sort of unlock super modes, their robot abilities reveal themselves to you.
That's cool. So you guys have pets, dogs?
Yes, we do.
Because the Scoop.
Is that true? Waffle Houses have a unique menu for when they
notorious.
have
That's
no
when you're
power or
like,
running
when
water.
you're like, what the hell are you
It's
doing?
time for a bath.
Yeah, it's you gotta handle that. You gotta handle that in pleasant ways. But we really
Okay,
want
this
to pull in
definitely
the
seems
humor as
very
much as we
party
can of the
fighting
characters that
game.
we have, and while this is still early, we want to be able to represent the humor and the character and the.
Throwing chairs and having the grill catch on
very
fire.
Much like the
very much
classic
is
Power Stone
fight in a
game.
Waffle House.
You've got dive kicks. You can pick up and push.
Yeah, you can see the Power Stone influences
tables,
for sure.
Throw them at your opponent. Ooh. There's hazards in the world as well.
Throw your opponent into the stove. If you hit them against that wall, you'll also see the barrels knocked out on them. So you can also use the world to your advantage.
So I have like homing gloves.
Yeah, the rocket fists.
So how did I get this power up right here?
So there's power cells, like you just, as you finished, much like the classic game, there's power cells that will spawn across the map. And if you're able to pick up 3, you're able to then transform into what would be eventually your pet mech. That's not represented in this prototype build, but that is something that.
You're gonna be able to transform.
Wait, what does that mean? What do you mean?
Into animal mode.
So currently, when you get your 3 Power Stones, you stay in your boxer form, but
there's a standard corporate manual for how to operate with limited menus when utilities are
where
around.
you're actually going to switch to your
Fascinating.
Really?
So
okay, I did learn something new about Waffle
abilities
House
once you get
today.
your secret move.
Oh, I got it.
Pause ready.
You can see the pet mech in our current trailer.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, that's awesome. Which we will debut, or we already have debuted. I mean, you guys debuted it, so
you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
People who are on site at the
It's a
next
prototype, but this looks neat. I hope this gets development
so
support.
Talk a little bit about like the kind of practical creation of the characters.
Yeah, so one of the things when we were talking about what we wanted to do with the studio, I also wanted to change my process of how I created characters and assets, and try to take advantage of, all this new technology we have with photogrammetry, and my natural ability to sculpt with physical material and clay. So I'm building all the characters in physical clay, scanning them in using photogrammetry, retopologizing them, and then animating them for combat. And you can also see the visual
I love the
effects. So
rocket
we're taking
fists. The
advantage
rocket
of,
fists are very cool.
Style and uniqueness that we get from physical materials, and then also taking advantage of
What is the
all
UK
of
equivalent of a Waffle
wonderful
House?
things that Unreal 5 affords us to kind
There's
of
not
push
really a
the
good
dynamics and
equivalent.
the style
I feel like
and,
energy-wise, it's Weatherspoons.
So
Weatherspoons is probably the
it's a nice
closest
mix for me,
analog
where I get physical
vibe-wise to a
use
Waffle
my hands,
House.
and then I can get digital.
Like
to take advantage of,
Weatherspoons is the place
advantages that, come
the
with
place where you would get like
So how does this differ from
the highest
when
likelihood
you
of
were,
someone
you were at
breaking
Double
into a
Fine?
fight
I mean,
over
you've been,
there
like you said,
while dinner's being
close
served.
to 3 decades. How does this differ? I mean, because you wanted to get it more hands-on, but when
Yeah.
you were at previous studios, how did you develop art there? Because you were directed and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I started as a character modeler for 12 years and worked my way up until I became like a lead and an art director. So most of my process has always been digital. Maybe at the beginning.
Just trying to
when
get
we're
my
kinda
notes
dealing with
ready for
sketching and
things that I
doing
reckon to see at
brainstorms and
State of
sketches the character,
Play.
you get paper and you
We don't have many
get
franchise
hands-on
restaurants
before
which
it
aren't
paint, but
American.
once it
Not
gets
really.
into the 3D phase, often you're in a digital space.
Like once upon a time,
and
Wimpy might have
so
had a
for me,
similar
I really
vibe, but
wanted to take
Wimpy's
advantage
very
of
rarely
designing
exist
things physically
anymore.
first, so that the toys feel great in your hands. Often I've worked in games where we create characters and we don't really see them in 3D
Little
form
Chef
until we've made a toy, and by then the
was
design
a similar
is
vibe of place, but it
sealed.
wasn't.
So I wanted to
It
nail
wasn't
down
open
early
late enough, and
and
it
making
was
sure it's something like a kid wants
too
to pick up and
exclusive
play
to roadside like.
So you're thinking of like just in general
service stations.
the 360 aspect of.
Like
how
if you
the
took
game
out the
will
fight,
feel,
the
not only
middle of the night
as a
fighting
game,
element,
but
like
also
I feel like a
if kids
Little
wanna
Chef
play
was
it,
not
and
that
then
far from a
probably
Waffle House.
animation and like just different mediums. Is that? I guess I'm making assumptions right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like the toy element.
Okay,
right? So
got
I've worked
you.
on games where we, designed the characters and mostly digitally, and then when we get to the merch element, the designs fall flat. And there's just a huge amount of opportunity and affinity that people have for their characters, and we want to make sure that the toys and the merch will also reflect that.
That's awesome.
There's
Tell
so
me a little
much
bit
screen
about
tear in this trailer.
Waffle House, because that's a very iconic cultural
There's the logo.
situation.
That's what
you know
I
I'm
saw.
saying? What
The
other
cat in the mafia?
You know what I
person.
mean? Like what other kind of cultural references as far as environments are you guys gonna have? Because no one's really doing that.
Well, we know, and if you think about this world that we've built,
This
we've
key
very
art's
much
pretty
thought
nice.
about how would these pets think, and if they're emulating their former masters, they would fight in the same areas that their former masters fight. So, Waffle
you know
House,
what? Yeah.
Black Friday.
Black Friday at the Wolf Mart or something like that. Exactly.
You know,
The county fair.
Yo, the county fair.
Black Friday.
The swap meet. This is like, this is going super like, you know what I mean?
Coachella. Well, you know, all
Coachella.
You know, like all these different things, right?
Coachella.
You know, outside the porta potties, you know, all these, like, where do people fight? You know, at Little League games. Yeah,
Little League games.
So, but the thing is, this is
Okay,
kind of
I
an
do
distraction.
like their thinking
Exactly.
here.
It's an distraction of where would people fight.
Well, essentially, if AI engulfed all of World Star, where would it tell you
World-
to fight?
Okay, they're on to
That
something.
is fantastic. Yes. Like, that is so amazing. I want to see I know you don't have it in here, but the bystanders. For people who don't have the dope, mechs,
We are actually, one of the things my grandson keeps asking for is he wants us to throw people through the window and then have the people on the other side of the window throw them back in.
That's so
and I'm
good.
like, well, that's Ultimate Waffle House, so that's
Ultimate
definitely
Waffle,
going.
I'm getting destroyed.
Phenomenal.
So
Yeah,
we're looking
okay.
into,
The
like,
puns are good.
A lot of this is there's so much to be explored, right? And there's so many, you know, callbacks and references.
Okay, I
that
don't
we
think
wanna
we're getting those
build
other
into the
5
game
games
itself.
in the next
and we
9
can build
minutes.
into this that we're really excited to kind of chase down.
What other animals are going to be debuted in the game?
Yeah, we've actually done some really great explorations on our character lineup, kind of exploring different fighter styles with just like an amazing concept artist named Connie Kang. She, one of her books is called Metamorphia, and she kind of focuses on like this really great translation of animals into human. And so we wanted to kind of play on like what would a house pet look like, and the likeness between a pet and their owner. And so we're kind of playing around with birds.
Oh, nice.
You know, anything you consider a house pet. Turtles, cats, of course, you gotta have a cat and a dog. Rats, even, we're even looking into like
rats.
How we get like a rat or a gerbil, maybe.
Gerbils, yeah, you know.
Yeah, your typical house pet.
That's super cool. So what do you, like, how far are you into, I know you guys are pretty early on, how far are you into development and kind of where are you gonna go from here?
This is probably 5%, if that, right? We are at the beginning of our journey.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's been really great about this is that
I will say I
this
do
is
wish
just even
more.
the
I do wish
start
more
of our
showcases were open about their
There's still a
lengths
lot
in
of development
advance
to go on. There's still a
because
lot
it
of
helps set
mechanics to
expectation for
integrate.
pacing.
There's a lot of different things that I want to try and get into the game. I want to try and push.
Oh, a capybara
this so
that does
the game is
capoeira
very
would be
approachable
fantastic.
for
You should be on this
intergenerational
team.
players
Hell
who
yeah.
play with the kids, but I very much think of this as like play with your
Yeah,
kids,
I think like
kids
the
bad,
unpredictable
Right, when you're playing
length
with your
of each
friends, you want a little
interview
bit more
or how frequently the
and I wanna
interviews
put a
do
lot
happen
more,
doesn't help the pacing
emergent
of Black
or
Voices in gaming.
discoverable mechanics that are
There's
in there,
no predictable
to kind of
consistency
push
to it
the play
in a way
space
that
of
makes it very hard to
games like
know
Power Stone,
what
where
the
whenever
flow
you get
is.
knocked down, you only lose one power cell. I'm thinking, what if we
Again, watching these
added a little bit
showcases
more
makes me
skill
think a
into
lot
it
about the
where,
choices I've made with the AA showcase, and I'm just going to talk about the AA showcase for a minute. I try and evenly pace any on-camera interruptions to the trailer flow pretty evenly throughout the showcase, and that usually means usually 3, maybe 2 to 4, but like usually 3 trailers between any interruption from trailers. So you get like 3 back-to-back trailers and then like at most 90 seconds of, hey, here's a thanks to our sponsor, or here is a disabled voice talking about their experiences, back into another probably 8 minutes of trailers. So you've got like a 10-minute block is probably roughly 8 minutes trailers, less than 2 minutes voices in a consistent set of chunks. And for no other reason than it, in my experience, it makes it easy. Knowing what to predict out of the pacing means that people get less annoyed by the things that interrupt. Like, oh, I'm enjoying this pace. Oh, the pace has changed. Okay, well, if I know that's consistent, you know. Saint Nobody says, this showcase could really use a lower third that says who's talking and what they're talking about. Yeah, there's... Look, I love the Black Voices in Gaming Showcase. I'll tune in for it every year. I do think it could benefit from some pacing changes.
Yeah, a character all its own. And
State of Play is in, 35 minutes.
You know, every match.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this like another...
And the pets aren't gonna get hurt.
I'm gonna give this like another 5-10 minutes.
Okay, that's...
But I do want to have time to do a bingo predictions before State of Play, so...
You can't, you can pet the pet mechs, but they're bots.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So where can we find out more?
As much as I would like to stick
about
around for
Carry
all the Black Voices in gaming, I want to have time to do State of Play.
Page, Carry Cuties, Pets, and Mechs, but we also have
ADR says, maybe it's just me, but I don't enjoy
site
Inside
you can go
Baseball
to.
talk
It's really
as
easy.
much.
C-Stone.
Oh, look, I enjoy Inside Baseball, but I do think that Black Voices in gaming, they do very no predictable set length casual interviews, and I do think some of their interview content could benefit from being a little trimmed and a little edited to have a snappier pace, in that a lot of their interviews are with people who are not media trained and are not necessarily very snappy interview subjects. And I say that with all the love in the world, I'm glad that they are given space to share the things they want to share. I do think they could benefit from a little trimming of silence, a little trim down to some of the best insights. Could benefit their pacing. Okay, let me... Oh, where's my mouse? There we go. Oh, is this okay, are our last 5 games just a sizzle reel? Or our final games? Okay, this is how they're gonna get their last 5 games in, is... Yeah, because, like... I think it's a shame that these last 5 games aren't getting full-length trailers. I think you could have trimmed down, for example, that last gameplay section and had, like, even just trim it down by, like, 5 minutes, and you'd have had time for these 5 games to have, like, a 60-second trailer each, rather than being 15, 20 seconds before they have to rush out the door. Yeah, because now I'm getting the impression they are doing a 90-minute showcase. Just 5 of the games have been relegated. 5 of the games have been relegated to the last 4 minutes. Good tunes, I agree, Jane. Good tunes for the sizzle reel. And there is some interesting looking stuff in here. I'm gonna look more into these games on Steam and probably wishlist some. Why is the Jay and Silent Bob game in the Black Voices showcase? Because it's being developed by a predominantly black development team, would be my assumption. Let me... Give me a second to see if I can find out about the dev team behind that game. Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch is being developed by Interrobang Entertainment. Let's find out about them. Give me a sec. Interrobang.
Excited for all of them, but like, what was your favorite?
I think my standout would have to be Jay and Silent Bob. I mean, I'm a longtime Jay and Silent Bob fan, so just that nostalgia alone was enough. Excited for sure.
Valid.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to give a big shout out to all of our devs today, Jesse, Steve.
Yeah. Interrobang appeared to be a predominantly black development team, which would explain Jay and Silent Bob being here.
And we are going to toss it over back to Justin.
Also, the volume, again, much like the mix.
Thank you, Curtis and Lori, for hosting the show.
Justin Woodward, I love your showcases, they're great. Both of the showcases you are involved in have really all over the place audio mixing that is not consistent from one segment or trailer to the next. Yeah, you gotta, we say this every year, you really gotta get someone balancing your audio.
Interested in helping to fund some of those projects that you saw on the show, you could donate to the XP Fund through the QR code on the screen and connect with us if you're interested in additional investment opportunities. we have to give it up to our partners, No Rivals.
There we go.
Aurora
Yeah, I really
Broadcasting
wish
for
those
being
last
on the
5
ones
games
and
had had
twos,
more than
Raw
20
Fury
seconds
for
each.
helping to make this thing possible, and our broadcasting partners.
It's
Summer
why I
Game
think their
Fest.
pacing's a
Thanks
little
for
funky.
including us
You didn't
again.
need to have a
Twitch,
sizzle reel. You
IG,
could have shaved 5
GameSpot,
minutes off an
and Steam.
interview.
Make sure to catch all of the other awesome showcases happening this week. There's so many of them. The Latin America Game Showcase, Women-Led Games, Southeast Asia Game Showcase, Frosty Games Fest, Wholesome Direct, Story Rich, Planet Play, India Game Showcase, Day of the Devs, and more.
And the Accessibility Summer Showcase, that too.
I am Justin Woodward.
Do I need to talk to Justin and be like, hey, how do I get in with the Cool Kids Club with all
See
you
you guys
lot?
soon, and peace.
Okay, cool. There we go. I'm glad we got to watch the whole thing and didn't have to cut it short. We have got the PlayStation State of Play in about half an hour. If you give me about 2 minutes, I'm going to end the stream just long enough that I can change the stream title and start a new stream, and it will show up as a different VOD. So if you give me about 2 minutes, probably less than that, I will be back and we will do half an hour of predictions bingo, and then we'll watch the probably 90 minutes of PlayStation State of Play. But also, if you want to have a break to not look at a screen or go have some look after your human body breaks or whatever, that's a good opportunity. I will be back in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. State of Play is coming right up. Stick right here. You might have to refresh the page, but like I'll be right back.